Discovery video 98. This is Churchill Downs Breeders' Cup race on a Saturday. The turf race for juveniles. Since it's a turf race, it is considered a 4-star preferred race. As a matter of fact, this being the 4th race of the day, it was the first 4-star offering on the card. What I'm talking about, let's log into the free area and find the link or banner for view all Discovery videos. Big red arrow on the right hand side is my listing of races, conditions that are conducive for nice price, value odds, and overlay winners. I accumulated this list after 16 years of research and testing. It's a dynamic list in that if there's any subtle changes in the sport over time, adjustments will be made. But, that's something that takes place over a long period. So as of this year, 2011, the preferred races are as follows. Starter allowance races. It's got to say ALW and with the little letter S at the end. All other allowance races are not preferred. Non-graded stakes in grade 3 races. You'll have a name stake with the purse, or it'll say for a grade 3 a G3. However, grade 2, grade 1, not preferred. All maiden claiming races, highly rated 4 stars, as one of the best of this group. All maiden special weight races, all claiming races with a condition. It'll say CLM, the claiming price, and numbers following to the right of the claiming price is a highly rated 4 stars. Bottom and low level claiming races, most tracks $5,000 to $10,000 claimers. All races run over the turf, highly rated 4 stars. This means all turf races, regardless of whatever else the race might be. And in this video, the race is a turf race. And then finally, all races on a wet track. Now, I mentioned that this was the 4th race of the day, and it was the first offering for a 4-star preferred race of the card that day, which sets it up to be a prime scoring element in the whole realm of the day. There's a whole strategy. You obviously want to score when the vine is ripe, and being the first 4-star preferred race of the day makes the ripest vine that I can possibly imagine in any situation. And this is a very special day, obviously. This is a Breeders' Cup day, so the fact that it's a turf race and Breeders' Cup has nothing to do with it. The Breeders' Cup portion has nothing to do with this race. It's the fact that this is a turf race, and all turf races are 4-star. Okay? Now, why am I talking about that? You'll figure that out by the end of the video. If you've watched some previous videos, you know what I'm going to do next. Right after I find one of those special races like this one, I'm going to look at the value odds horse or horses. And in this case, we got 2. Number 5, Rote, and number 4, Farage. Now, what do you do? Well, first of all, the most important thing in determining what I'm going to do is looking at the odds near post time. This is always the most important thing. Now, for those of you making a bet in advance, I suggest that you use somebody's conditional wagering. These United States wagering accounts like Twin Spires, etc. That's the one I use. They offer conditional wagering in which you can set minimum odds. Okay? I'm talking about if you had a bet in advance and you couldn't be there to see the odds in their post time, because this is the most important determining factor. So use conditional wagering, and I set up a minimum. I want double digits on my value odds horses, minimum 10 to 1. That's how I do it. Some members go higher, some members go lower, but I found for my own personal score record that 10 to 1 was my number, was my magic number. So when I dial in a bet on conditional wagering, I'm making 2 separate bets on the 5 and the 4, and I'm saying that I want 10 to 1 minimum near post time. Now, most of the time, the betting public will bet down one of the value odds horses when you have 2 of them. Okay? And at the same time, another one becomes an overlay. Number 5, here's your odds. Number 5 Rote was 12 to 1, the only double digits. Near post time, we had on your top 4 in Group A. Here are all the odds. Farage was single digits at 8 to 1. So automatically, I am not considering Farage as a key element for the bet. Remember, if you want to remember the first basic thing is find one of the best races you can, and we're on one as a 4-star preferred race. And B, what are the odds in their post time? They must be double digits or higher. This is what I go by, and I highly suggest. And all the videos, I do speak of this. So if this is new to you, by all means, there's 500 videos to dig into. Over 500 now, and there's almost 100 now in the Discovery series. One thing I find interesting is that Aidan O'Brien, the trainer, the European trainer, has an excellent record in shipping horses to America. In America, he is on our list of overlay trainers, and that's what that icon indicates. Okay. When you see this icon, it means the trainer is used to scoring at a price. Now, Aidan O'Brien is probably the biggest named trainer from Europe to ship and run horses to America. Yet, the betting public somehow does not give him credit for such. As a matter of fact, in that Rote was let go at 12 to 1, absolutely an overlay. Absolutely, positively. Also, if we look up and down the rest of the race, you will notice there is no other overlay trainer in the race. Okay, I want you to remember that as being important. Whenever you see a race where there's only one horse with this icon, It's very, very significant. Also, significant in Group A and B, only one horse has the good record at today's distance, Icon. Since this is an 8 furlong race, also known as a flat mile, or a 1 mile race, 8 furlongs, it's a sort of a specialist distance. 7 furlongs is a specialist distance. 8 furlongs is a specialist distance. All the rest of the distances, higher and lower, you pretty much can split the horses up between sprinters and routers. But between 7 and 8 furlong is where the transferal, or the change takes place. So there's a gray area there. So horses that tend to have good records, or an advantage in distance records at 8 furlongs and 7 furlongs, both on turf and dirt, this is very significant in weighing factors as well. Okay. Now, those are some of the things to like about rote. But remember, the most important reason we're even on rote is because of the odds near post time were in my wheelhouse. And we were able to throw out the one bet down to single digit odds for key horse purposes. Now, I also like to mention why the betting public might not have bet this horse. I do this for interesting reasons, just for research purposes, because part of my whole strategy was handicapping the betting public as well. Over the years, I've analyzed the betting public and how they bet, when they're wrong and when there's an opportunity for an overlay. Like I mentioned in the beginning, or earlier, that Aidan O'Brien is just not given the appropriate credit. Okay? He ships turf horses over from Europe to America. It's a well-known fact that overall, the European turf horses are indeed having, I would say, somewhere between superior, but definitely having an edge over the American turf horses. Because most of the racing in Europe is on turf. So you're essentially taking the best of Europe. And those are the best of all horses. So why did Aidan O'Brien get unnoticed again is something that we were aware of, obviously, here with the overlay trainer icon, that could be a possibility. So when I see the odds at 12-1, then I say, the betting public is doing exactly what I hoped that they would do. And they are doing exactly what the report says that they do. Remember, trends and patterns are a big part of all this. They need to be analyzed dynamically. Never-ending research. Okay. We know where to go now. The bet is the proven wagering strategies. It's the second part of the whole successful profit piece of the puzzle. Long-term profit. First is the win bet. The win bet has to be made first, even if you're going to play exotic wagers. Some players only bet to win, which is fine. Sometimes I only bet to win. If I just feel like keeping things simple. It's also a good bet, loan bet, for those wanting to build their bankroll. It's a conservative approach, but in any case, even if you're going to do other wagers, get the win bet down first, because you don't want to have a key long shot in a 4-star preferred race, and the horse wins, and you somehow are not cashing a ticket. You know, we're done banging heads against the wall. Okay, this is the school of stop banging your head against the wall. I've got plenty of lumps on my head over the decades, and the fact that we're human beings make us the most intelligent creature on earth. Most of us have the ability to learn from the head bangings. I do say most of the people, most of us. So, for the video purposes, I always go $10 to win. For example purposes, your bet would be more or less depending on your bankroll. The second bet is the exacta. I always wheel my key horse in the exacta, so that would be a $2 5-all exacta. The third bet would be the daily doubles. Not only do I wheel exactas, I also wheel daily doubles. So I'd have a 5-all exacta going out of this race. And if we're dealing with rolling doubles, you would actually have an all 5-4 coming in. You were coming into a 4-star preferred race and you had 2 value odds horses, and you don't know which one's going to be better or not if you're playing the double in advance. So if you're going into a 4-star preferred race, you can absolutely positively wheel the all 5-4, but going out, it's a 5-all. Now, on to the trifecta. Strategies as follows. Never changes. We're taking our key horse on top in the first position. Then in the second position, we're putting 7, 4, 8, 11. What this represents is the rest of Group A and the top horse in Group B. All right. And then in the third position, we're doing all. So that's 5 with the 7, 4, 8, 11 with all. Once again, this strategy is an end result of ongoing 16-year study and research of being the most successful strategy to use with our reports. And then your 10-cent superfecta, just simply extend out the third leg of our all to the fourth leg for the all in the 10-cent super, and that's the strategy for that. If you're going to play pick threes, you would simply key your single here as the 5, play your Group A horses in the other races. That is the way that the proven wagering strategy works. One thing I do want to mention here. The sire, High Chaparral, even though you have the turf pedigree icon down here on the 12 horse, who is also out of High Chaparral. But the reason the turf pedigree icon was down here was because the pedigree is analyzed top and bottom. Okay? But for all intents and purposes, the sire was basically the top, as far as the male side of the family, the male side of the pedigree was the tops in the race. If you were looking at the report, you might have noticed that. If you haven't, well, you just learned something kind of neat and new to check out in the future. But that's regardless, because remember, none of that is of any significance. This is the most important factor here. This other stuff that I talked to you about is simply for research purposes and knowledge. Okay, the number, the air post time, is the determining factor. Everything else is the story behind it, or in front of it, or whatever, the story around it. Okay? So, the first 4-star offering of the day. No disappointment. Nice turf win, a perfectly timed ride by Mr. Moore. No relation. Final odds, couple clicks under 12. We are at 25-20 on the Win Mutual. Good reason why I like to wheel the exacta, because I frequently catch them big ones underneath. In this case, that $2 exacta paid $964. $964. Another reason we like 4-star preferred races is the favorite frequently runs out. There's the favorite. He ran out. There's the second favorite. He ran out. There's the third favorite. Out. Okay? So, 4-star preferred races are ripe, like I said. So, with the 5 and the 11, there. Trifecta City. Trifecta and Super City. It was, as usual, Breeders' Cup payoffs. Generous as all can be. Here's all your returns. There's your exacta, like I mentioned. And even those conservative members who only play win bets and exacta, you want to get in, you want to score and be done with it. Okay, and that's why I say the first 4-star race of the day is important, because depending on whether you hit or look for another one on the same card, depends on what happens here. It's all a matter of probabilities that I put in play as far as the long-term profit scheme, which is what all of this is designed for. The $1 trifecta for my strategy returned $4,065.60. The 10-cent super, now this is fantastic. This is a fantastic payoff here. Well, it was $90,000 for $2, but on the 10 cents, we got $4,570.20. You'll only see 10-cent supers that big in Breeders' Cup Day and situations like that. Usually, to get anything close to a grand on a 10-cent super is good, but 4,500 is like, well, and I'd like to say Christmas in November, but it's kind of been Christmas all year for us. Value odds daily double. What does that mean? Well, it just so happens the value odds horse in the previous race, a Fleet again, won and paid 80 some dollars. So you had value odds and value odds daily double. 1,900, excuse me, $1,497.20. Total returned here. My strategy is 11,434.80. Remember, I said that this was the first 4-star race of the day. We nailed it for 11 grand. We're done. Our mission has been accomplished at this track. Usually, if you're going to hit a big one, there's going to be one per day per track. Now, that's the odds of probabilities. That's not to say that we will never ever hit another 4-star race on the rest of this card. It's just to saying the probabilities are that you're only going to hit one 4-star big one per card. In other words, per track per day. That's what the law of averages says. And this is something that's good to keep in mind when you're juggling around your money, which is the third and last aspect of long-term profit, money management, or bankroll management. You will establish whatever your horse racing bankroll is. You will then say that, okay, that's X amount of dollars. It's just for horse racing. You will then say, I will bet a maximum percentage, X percentage of that bankroll on any given race that I do make a bet on. And hopefully, we're keeping an eye for the special races, okay? Focusing there. Your percentage, I suggest 1 to 2%. If you want to almost be guaranteed that you'll never blow your bankroll. Okay, this is another problem with horse players, with many horse players. They're constantly blowing their bankroll. You should have a slowly growing bankroll over time. Because you're managing your money, you're able to get from one big hit to the next big hit. And obviously, you don't want to be funds exhausted, because in the sport of horse racing, the next race is always the race after you blow the bank. That's the one that makes you beat your head against the wall. Another reason to beat your head against the wall. And see, part of the whole process that I do here is to stop the pain involved in all of this. There's a lot of fun involved, and but unfortunately, to a lot of players, there's a lot of pain involved. My process is to eliminate pain and to add fun and profit. That's the long-term range of everything that I do here in the videos, which are a culmination of 16 years of ongoing research and studying the reports with results of every track in the nation. But also, if you want to know what tracks to play, just look at this page, the Discovery video page. Check out the tracks I'm making videos on. Delaware Park, Churchill Downs, Turf Paradise, a double Monday, Tuesday, good track. Santa Anita, Monmouth Park, Belmont Park, Santa Anita, Suffolk, that was a Monday, Tuesday track. Belmont, Santa Anita, Calder, Belmont Park, Delaware, Belmont, Delaware, Belmont. Are we seeing a pattern here? Okay. What are we at? This is video number 98 in the Discovery series. And, yeah, it helped to have back-to-back value odds winners. That doesn't happen all the time, but it certainly did help our daily double return on that big one there. But I think the most impressive thing about this whole score was the 10-cent super return. The reason being is because you will never see those kind of numbers if it wasn't a Breeders' Cup type day. Okay, because there's so much money being pumped into the wagering pools by let's just say, less than expert money. It's coming from all angles. And this is where we can take advantage of overlay situations, and also the best trainer in Europe who consistently ships horses over here and wins on the turf, yet somehow the betting public hasn't figured it out yet. All right, we're at 30 minutes, so I'm going to kick off because I got another video to do. Thank you very much for viewing. Good luck with all your bets.